A little experiment with eBay. Tiny radiator. It's made for a water-cooled PC with an 80mm fan. I bought it because it was 32 bucks. I want to experiment with it. So I have a bucket of water. Just put water in it, a little bit of ice. My water is 48.5 degrees of water. It's been running 5 minutes. And I'm getting 50 degrees of output in the fan. And it's slowly getting lower. It's actually pretty efficient. The radiator is cool to the touch. And I can feel the fan blowing from 2 feet away. And this is only on 9 volts. It's a 12 volt battery with a dead cell. I bought this to make a little ice chest cooler. Instead of running copper tubing coils, this is very efficient. I mean, for the money, for $32 for a tiny little radiator, I mean, who doesn't want to have one on their shelf, right? So I imagine on 12 volts, I'll put a variable fan, and you get some water down the mid-20s, this thing will probably put out freezing temps. So it's pretty impressive. I'm gonna do some more tests with it. And temperature slowly dropping. 47. It's 46 degrees. Now, this is not really measuring the air temperature. It's probably measuring the temperature of the coils themselves. I don't really know how I would measure air temperature. I guess I have to direct the air through like a tube and measure the temperature of the air itself inside the tube. I would say right now it feels like the air's in the mid 60s. It's almost like a little mini air conditioner, to be honest with you. Gonna do some more testing. I used the pump from my PC compressor, and this is the water tank I use to circulate it. It's just a cheap water fountain pump. It cycles through the hoses, through the radiator, back to the tank. If I turn the pump off or plug up the line, I won't be able to do all this. I won't single-handed, but if I plug up the line, the fan cools the radiator back down to ambient temperature within a minute. The fan gets to room temperature, and as soon as you release it, in less than a minute, it's back blowing cold. So the radiator does a really good job at what it's designed for. It's about a 1-inch thick core. I think it's 3 inches by 4 inches. I'm not sure if it's a single core or dual core. It's probably a single core. But I'd imagine in a gaming computer, this little thing is pretty awesome to have. I'm at 47, 46. Water temperature above the pump. It's 42 and getting colder. I can't wait to put some real ice in it. Maybe a little salt water solution, but I'm sure salt water is not good to run through a radiator. But it will get the water down colder. So maybe just some ice water. It's really quite cold coming out. You can see it sweating. Condensation and moisture always builds up on the hot side being the atmosphere. It's about 72 degrees in my house. And the temperature of the radiator itself, we're looking at 46 on the surface of the radiator. Blowing out 46, 45, steady dropping. (41 degrees Fahrenheit). 40, 39. Wow. (36 degrees). 35. I guess I can put something in front of this fan, a piece of metal, let it absorb that coolness, and that'll give me a better idea of the temperature of the air coming out. 33. find a warm spot. So it's not as efficient on the bottom as it is higher up, which is expected. I would assume the middle is going to be your coldest zone. Water's 32, 31. Let it run for a little while. See what we can do.